Welcome to Holistic Human Performance Podcast. My name is Gena Bradshaw, where we talk all things holistic health, wellness, spirituality, fitness, meditation, energetics, and so much more to help you become the healthiest version of yourself. Let's dive in. This is not medical advice. This is simply to help you on your journey through health, fitness, and wellness. I hope this helps. You can complement this with anything that you are doing currently in your life. Enjoy. I want to talk about meditation. I have been meditating for over 10 years now, and when I tell you it has completely transformed my life on every single aspect, it truly has brought me back to this wholeness state my mind, body, and soul was craving for so long, and I didn't even realize it. Now you may be thinking, meditation, I can't sit there in stillness. There are so many ways to meditate. And maybe you're asking yourself, you've been wanting to meditate, but you don't know where to start. Or maybe you've fallen off the routine and you need a little support to get back into your flow. Then I've got something for you. Introducing the 10-day meditation challenge now on the Holistic Human Performance app. It was made just for you. These guided meditations are 3 to 5 minutes, short, powerful, and intentional. Each day will give you a specific theme, and it's a fresh energy reset and a gentle way to reconnect with yourself. Whether you're brand new or just need a reboot, this is your sign to say yes to stillness. And the best part, you get to try it out for a week free when you sign up now. Head on over to the Holistic Human Performance app, join the challenge, and start transforming your mornings in just as little as 3 to 5 minutes a day. Your peace is waiting and you deserve it. Head on over to the Apple Store or Google Play to find Holistic Human Performance app now. Again, try it out with a week free trial, either for your monthly subscription or annual subscription. You will not regret it. I'll put all of the information in the show notes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Holistic Human Performance Podcast. I'm your host, Gena Bradshaw Vitale, and today we have such a special guest, a dear friend of mine. We have Katelyn Keith with us. We go back a couple years, and she is like my spiritual woo-woo astrology girly. And I've done a couple of readings with her. Absolutely phenomenal. And I will say you were definitely one of the individuals that really got me into astrology, because it really helped me look at it from an angle of like, it's a whole education system. So it helped me look at it from an angle of like, there's so many, it's just like spirituality and just like wellness. There's like, it's an umbrella term. And then you have all these, tools and things that come off of it. And you just speak to it so simply, so beautifully, and you totally embody it. You totally own it. It's like your authentic coding girl for sure, what you came here to do in this lifetime. And I am all here for it. So we are literally diving into astrology and herbalism. She specifically brings the two, what's called Astro-Herbalism. And y'all know I am so into herbs, natural medicine, homeopathy, and astrology. So we're like diving deep into it. Without further ado, Katelyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I like have chills. Everything that you just said, it's like when you talk to someone or like meet someone that has the same interests and like passions that you do, like, oh my gosh, it just feels good.
Lights you up. It lights you
Yes.
up. Yes. No, I was so looking forward to this. And yeah, so why don't you kind of start off just by sharing how you even got into astrology?
Okay, so oh gosh, I've always been kind of one of those people, especially when I was little, like what people would like say is like woo woo, but I didn't know it then. Like I just loved like witches and magic and spiritual stuff like ghosts and like that's always been aliens was another thing that I was super into like just this tiny little kid that like I'm not even kidding when Halloween rolled around every year, I would either be a witch, a fairy, or an alien. And my mom would always be like, "Are you sure you don't want to be something else?" I'm like, "No, I want to be a witch again." And it's like 8 years in a row. So that's always just been like in my core. So astrology actually came really naturally to me. I was very into like horoscopes and stuff like that when probably like in middle school, high school. And then I started taking like astrology courses just in like my free time. And it just always has been something that I've like returned to throughout my life. And it's really interesting because astrology genuinely has saved me at certain points of my life throughout all the trials and tribulations. Like I would get really into it and then something would happen. Like, for example, I had my daughter a couple of years ago and I
Hmm.
kind of like fell off the astrology bandwagon and my spiritual bandwagon. And I returned back to it postpartum when I was feeling really lost. And that is actually when my business kind of took off. So it was like this thing that has always been like circling my life that once I finally like it was like the timing officially was like divinely ready for me to take off in that space. And that was actually how Jenna and I met was through a metaphysical store that we both worked at. So it's just so crazy how like those things that they are in your space, you have a true passion for them, but you're like, I would love to do this, but like it never works out or you don't feel like it's the right time. And then all of a sudden effortlessly like comes into view. So that's kind of like astrology's just always been there. It's like my best friend.
And I remember you being like so like, ooh, like this is like I'm starting to like really get into it. Like I'm really gonna go all in. And it just like took off for you. Like astrology is your thing. Like it is in your soul's blueprint. And when I've gotten like a couple of readings from you and like even like listening to your like the energy you have behind it. Because not, you know what it is? There's you know me, I'm all about the science too. Science and spirituality, two sides of the same coin. I always say this. You have like the education behind it because I could only imagine, I haven't like actually came across someone like this, but not I can't even imagine not having the education behind astrology. Like it just it doesn't work. Like you just can't, it does not work. You have to understand the education system behind it. There is a science to it. And obviously there's different themes of what people will kind of like vibe into. And you didn't always start off with astro-herbalism either.
I
Like
did not.
what got you into herbalism?
Oh my gosh. So probably like so 2 year maybe like a year ago 2 years ago I can't remember when it was. So my astrology business was like taking off. I had was doing so many readings and I was also working full time as I'm a
Yes.
CPA. So tax seasons were nuts. I was trying to do astrology readings at night like overnight while my daughter slept. Like I just got like burnt out and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a step back. Like I just cannot do this at the speed and volume that I've been doing. So I took a step back and didn't do any astrology readings for probably like 6 months
Mm.
and completely put a stop on my business. And I was like, you know what? Like I kept getting this feeling that like there was something more and I just needed to like create space for it. So I was like, you know what? We'll stop everything. We'll just see what happens. Like if a ton of people want readings, maybe I'll do them again. And during that time, all of a sudden, so my daughter started like I guess not really like daycare, like a preschool type thing. And she started getting sick more often. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I want like a good health system for my kid. Like I want to be able to take care of her. Like I don't want her to have antibiotics for literally everything. Like,
Yeah.
and I started looking at herbalism and homeopathy, and both of those things tie into astrology.
Yeah.
And
It's
I was
so
like,
cool.
oh my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is like my missing puzzle piece. So I started a clinical herbalist curriculum. And so I'm actually finishing the clinical portion of it. I'm an herbalist right now, but throughout this clinical herbalism course that I'm taking, it's just literally been like connecting dots for me, where all of a sudden these different things are tying into things that I've learned before or I've practiced before in astrology. And it just like is an entire worldview. It's like before I was just looking at like the map of the United States. And now I'm like seeing the entire world when you add in all these different branches. So that was kind of like my intro into herbalism, was that I genuinely just wanted something different for my kid than what I experienced. Like you and I, like being 90s babies, like antibiotics and going to the doctor like every week was a thing. Like, and
Yeah.
now we realize like your gut doesn't like that. And like there's different ways that you can maybe like go about things. And it's not saying that one's right or wrong, but I just thought that it was really interesting that like I could literally take an herb to reduce my fever instead of going and taking an over the counter prescription. The herb is like growing in my backyard or like in the woods down the street kind of thing. Like it just is so cool that it's so accessible. So that was kind of how I got into herbalism. And then literally it just like effortlessly tied into astrology. I had never heard of Astro-Herbalism before I started down this path. Like it found me. I did not find this.
Dude, it is so fascinating. Because I'm very much into like medical astrology, and not that I do readings or anything, but medical astrology is so fascinating where basically I literally have a book behind me. What is it called? Bo Body Astrology.
Yes.
It is like the coolest book ever. And it's based on like, and it's what I do tie into like Jake, our astrologer, on the holistic human performance team, like we'll tie this stuff into people's birth natal charts based on, what they're experiencing. And it's based off like where their planetary alignments are. Like if you looked at someone's birth natal chart, it could show what people are susceptible to in this lifetime, what diseases, anxiety, depression, cancer. Like, I mean, I'm a two-time cancer survivor, so it's very clear in my chart that I was susceptible to that. So that's very cool. And it is such a topic that people just think that astrology is like zodiac signs, but it's not. It's literally so much deeper than that. And by the way, and I know you're so into this, the history of astrology, like physicians and doctors were literally using astrology.
Oh my gosh, that is like, I will die on this hill, I swear. This is one of those things that everyone's like, oh, astrology is like pseudoscience, or there's not any like science behind it. Okay, literally, there is. So Hippocrates is
Yeah.
like the Greek physician, and this is, I'm sure, where you were going with this. We're like medieval Europe, we're talking like 1400s probably. I don't, do not quote me on the year, but like 1400s through probably like the 1700s. Like there was a long history of this, and he is the father of medicine. And there's literally a quote from him that's like, if a physician does not understand or have a working knowledge of astrology, they cannot call themselves a physician. And it's like, wait, literally, you can Google that quote. And that quote right there is the one thing that I like always will present to people when I'm like, you call him the father of modern day medicine. Like, our doctors take a Hippocratic oath to this day based on his teachings, but we're just going to pretend that he didn't say these things and didn't practice medical astrology on his own patients. Like, I cannot. So that is one of those things that I'm like, put me on my hill, on my soapbox. I will go to town.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. It's so true. And so, okay, so like let's just say talk to me about kind of like how you incorporate herbalism into like, because you have curations and like, you're doing readings and stuff. Like, how do you kind of, what's your methodology?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so well, what the first thing that I do, especially for all readings, like if someone's coming to me for like an herbalism type problem, so it's more of like a clinical issue, whether it's like they're suffering from anxiety or whatever it might be, some physical ailment that they are coming to find herbal help and support for. The
Hmm.
first thing I do is I look at their natal chart. I don't know how physicians or anyone that is trying to help anybody with any issue doesn't look at the natal chart. Like all the
All
answers are
right.
right there.
I know.
And so based on their natal chart, because as you said earlier, like we can look at like their planetary alignments, what houses are where, different zodiac signs, and it'll really tell us one, their constitution. That is a really big thing. That's probably the first thing I start with. So your constitution is overall kind of like your physical body here on this earth and how it runs. So I always think of a constitution. So it's like, do you run hot or cold? Are you clammy or dry? Are you like energetic or sluggish? Like all of those things will tie into what is called an overall constitution. Because if you don't understand that, you can't really give support in a way that's helpful. Like you can give an herb, but the herb essentially will either be working against that person potentially based on their constitution, or it just won't work. Like their
Right.
constitution ends out like canceling it out, for example.
Right.
So if you have someone that has a ton of heavy Mars energy in them, Mars is a hot planet. It is dry, it's volatile, there's an overabundance of energy there. So if I went and gave them an herb that's ruled by Mars or an herb that's ruled by the sun, that's really increasing energy in the body, that poor person is going to overheat. They're probably going to have insomnia because there's a ton of energy in them that they can't shut off. And they're going to end up having a lot of like outbursts. So, whether that's outbreaks of skin, acne, eczema, like that's where like your constitution really comes. It should be your primary thing that you look at when you're first looking into like herbalism. And then from there, I can look at the different things, like you said, like the predispositions that they have. We can also look at different sources. So if they're having an ailment that they just can't figure out why, most of the time you can find the root cause in a natal chart. So each of like the zodiac signs and the houses rule different parts of the body. Same with the planets. And so if they're having, for example, a stomach issue, like maybe it's an overactive acid or something like that. I guess going back to like Mars, or if they have an inflammatory issue. Mars is very inflammatory because it's just angry, tense, like energy. If that's in your stomach's ruled by Cancer. So you would probably go and look at the house that Cancer rules. And then you can kind of see, oh, well, I'm just making up a connection here, but if Cancer is ruling a certain house that maybe has to do with, let's say, your joints or with the waters of the body or something like that, maybe your immune system, then we can kind of like pinpoint and say, okay, your immune system is causing this stomach issue. It's not actually the stomach itself that's causing it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with typical medical conditions or anyone that really, because I'm not a doctor, none of this is medical advice. However, then you can look at that and be like, okay, I'm going to take some herbs that are going to help calm down my immune system while I try and figure this out with my doctor. Like
Right.
that is kind of like my biggest driver, I guess, is I want people to be their own advocates. Like you could go to a doctor and be like, my stomach hurts, and they're like, okay, here's a prescription. But they don't actually know why your stomach hurts. Like this way you can go and be like, hey, my stomach hurts, but I also know my immune system's doing this. And then the doctor can have more information. So that's kind of like my methodology is I always start with the natal chart and it always ends with supportive herbs and different like I guess energy work is another thing, but I don't do energy work, but there's a lot of people that you can tell that there's a lot of energetic, whether it's lack of boundaries. If you have a lot of Pisces energy, you literally have zero boundaries in
No
life.
boundaries at all.
Like no boundaries. And that extends energetically as well. It also can like, I found this so fascinating. Like, so Pisces is a great example, and I'm going on a tangent. So stop me if you need me to.
No, it's
Pisces
okay.
is it's a great example of where you can see like the physical manifestation and the spiritual manifestation in a natal chart. So Pisces has no boundaries, like totally water ruled. And if you think of like a cup of water, water is going to go everywhere unless it has a boundary, like a cup.
Right.
So that's going to be energetic boundaries. You're probably not setting boundaries with the spirit world, but also with the people in your life. But also, if you think of like lacking boundaries in your body, leaky gut syndrome is huge with Pisces.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of inflammation that you can see, swelling, because your tissues are so lax that they are not doing the boundary job that they were born to do. So then you would look at herbs that are going to tone up those tissues and is going to help like reinforce them. So it's crazy when you look at it from that perspective of like there is a totally, it all ties in, it all makes so much sense when you look at from a physical, an emotional, and an energetic standpoint. It all is there right in your natal chart.
I mean, I don't know any other way to look at it at this point in time. Like
Right.
with where I'm at in life, like I don't even know another way to look at somebody now. Like same, like someone will come to me and they'll be telling me like, they're dealing with autoimmune disease or whatever. And I'll be like, okay. And then we'll go into like, all right, what's your zodiac sign? Like, give me all your information. I'm going to look this up. And then I'll be like, oh, okay. Like, yes. All right. Got it. Lack of boundaries. You got a lot of anger held in your liver. Got it. Okay. Very fiery. Got a lot of dampness in the body. Like it just
Yes.
makes sense. And I see this going, right? This is all metaphysical. I see this going in a direction where it's like, oh yeah, like people are waking up to this. I would like it to happen faster, but at the same time, because it's like, you understand, like someone has to be open to this. They're not just gonna be like if and health is very specific. People get very weird about health. And I was just the podcast I was recording before, we were talking about this as well. Like people become, and this also has to do with like, your birth natal chart too, and like your identity to your body, your identity and how you view spirituality, what your soul came here to learn. And so many people get so, because again, it's like the brainwashing and they think like, I have a headache, let me go to the doctor first. But it's like, oh wait, like sometimes your crown chakra can just be too open and you're just letting so much information from like spirits and also other people's energies come in, and it could be just taking over your head, and like you're getting like these symptoms. So it's like, did you check your energy first? And also like, with the liver, you posted something about dandelions the other day, and I was like, I love dandelions. And for me, I'm a Cancerian, Cancer rising, Libra moon, Cancer sun. And anger is a very like, it's an emotion for me. Like my acupuncturist, he's like, you're just a typical like liver dominant person. So for me, like dandelion root is very like, I have that and I love it too. Like my body craves it. Bitters, like my body craves it. So it's things like that, and like working on, that spiritual health as well. It's so important. But I'm so glad you're saying this, because it's like, it's really what astrology to me is connecting the dots just by looking at someone's birth natal chart. It's the
Exactly.
coolest thing.
Oh my gosh, it's like a language in and of itself. Like, I swear, like the planets, they talk to us. Like, that sounds so woo-woo, but like everyone in the world has heard of Mercury retrograde. They have heard that people go crazy on full moons. Like, these are things that are like common, maybe jokes to some people, but like all of this originated somewhere, right? Like this lore, these myths, like, and you also, I think, feel it. Like, whether you want to believe it or not, like people feel the retrogrades happen. They feel these things happening above us that we can't even see. But all of a sudden, things start changing in your world, and yet they'll still stand there and be like, astrology's not real.
I
And I'm like,
know.
what are you talking about? Like, you were just talking about Mercury retrograde. Like, you
I
can't blame the
know.
planet and then not believe in it. Like,
And it's so funny, being a Cancerian, I'll use myself as an example again. I am so sensitive to the moon. So
yeah.
sensitive to the moon. Once I started to incorporate like lunar living, and again, like my sign is ruled by the legitimate moon. I'm literally daughter of the moon. So if I'm ever working with another Cancerian and they're telling me like how emotional they are, and they're like, it was, and I'm like looking at dates, I'm like, that was the full moon. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Like, it's like the connection is just, once you cannot unsee it.
It's so true. It is so true. And like it's also like once you start understanding it, like it does make sense and it does come into your daily life just like you would like a normal conversation. Like I'll just randomly, like something will happen. I'll be like, I bet you that Mars is in Cancer or whatever it is, or whatever weird
Yeah,
planetary like
yeah,
transit that's happening. And I'm like, okay, yeah, it is. Like that makes sense. Cause it's just like
yeah,
you are attuned to it once you like kind of like realize it.
yeah.
And yeah, it's just the planets want us to talk to them. Like we're here to work with our universe and like everything around us. That's why I feel like herbalism is so important too. And it's kind of the same thing that like we've kind of been told throughout time that like herbs are dangerous or they're ineffective. Same with homeopathy. And it's like, but why did like why how did we get here? Because herbs were used for thousands and thousands of years. Like
Because it's a threat. That's why.
I know. I always think about that where I'm like, it's because they don't like they're
You
so
can't, you
accessible.
cannot patent nature.
Exactly. I
You can't
literally,
patent, you can't patent nature. It just, you can't. So
you
that's why
can't.
it's a threat.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, once I started really like, okay, because my background of being in, I started off, fitness, nutrition, sport performance, supplements,
Right.
supplements, supplements, right? Okay. So I did always grow up just Italian like household. Like herbs were always a part of the kitchen. Like that's
Right.
how we do things. Oregano oil, always a part of our lifestyle. So when I started to shift into more holistic health, like I'm pregnant currently, so obviously I'm not gonna be diving too deep into like I take like a specific like prenatal vitamin and also like nettle and red raspberry leaf tea. I'm actually drinking I have soursop leaves with clove right now, water.
Ooh.
I'm sipping on that. So it's like things like that where, I went from a viewpoint of like supplements, 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 and I believe some are great because of just our environment, the food, we're not getting it in
Right.
the soil, of course. But if you're not getting the foundations down in terms of eating, healthy lifestyle, like the basic foundations, then that's not where you need to be starting. And also, shifting into more of botanicals and herbs are going to be so much better for your overall health and well-being because they have this long lasting positive impact and also some, knowing which ones obviously are not going to work for your body. That's why working with someone is so important. You don't just, you test them out, but, at the same time, you want to be smart about it as well. Um, but that's kind of like where my shift started when I started to really lean into the metaphysical, learning about holistic health and being like, oh, wait, this herb is good for, it has anti-cancer properties, like soursop. Soursop is used as like in different countries as like it's literally like chemotherapy basically. So it's so interesting.
It's so true. And like, yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like, it's just, there's so much knowledge and wisdom out there that I feel like we should have access to, right? Like, these are the things when you take like a nutrition course, they should probably start talking about herbs. But yeah, it's just not mainstream. And if anything, it's like, I don't want to use like a term that like triggers people, but it's kind of like demonized, I feel like almost,
It
where
is, yeah. It is.
and it's like if you, because I've even noticed that, like with astrology, herbalism, and especially when I add the two together with like astro-herbalism and medical astrology, people like they're like, "Wow, you are a nut! Like you really believe in this stuff, and like you really take herbs every day, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, I do." And like I give them to my children, and I like it's a part of our lives, and it like genuinely keeps everybody healthy and we don't have to necessarily use our pediatrician as often. And like people will
Yep.
literally be like, why don't your kids go to the doctor? My daughter's probably been to the doctor like she goes every year for like her wellness checks, but like she's never really there outside of that. And like
I'm
people just
so
think
on
it's
board with that.
crazy.
I know, I'm so
Yeah,
on board with that. I couldn't agree more because and again, like obviously things will happen and maybe you'll need an antibiotic once in a blue moon,
right.
okay? But at the same time, it's like if you don't need it, why are you just like continuously giving it to especially kids? It's like that totally ruins their gut permeability and it can cause leaky gut and all of these things, especially depending on where their planets align, what are they susceptible to, it's so
Exactly.
wild. um oh, this was my other question because I forget, what are your big three? What's your rising, your moon, and your sun?
So I'm a Gemini sun, of course, love to talk and love to share information, like totally tracks. I'm a Pisces moon and I'm a Leo
Oh,
rising. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I'm going to, well, okay, so my husband's a Leo and baby girl is supposed to be also a Leo. So that's gonna be, I got the water going on with my Cancerian self, and then I'm gonna have these two fiery sides. I'm gonna be like, oh God.
You're definitely gonna need your like will be the balance for them.
Totally.
And
Totally.
there may be days where they like butt heads too, and you'll have to mediate.
We'll
Like,
get
just think of that.
that's what I was thinking. I get this. My daughter is supposed to be born. Again, baby will come when baby will come, but her due date is on my husband's birthday.
Oh,
How crazy is that?
nuts. Oh my gosh. My daughter was born 3 days before my husband's birthday. Like, it
Do they butt
happens.
heads a lot or
It's
I
a
mean
fact.
they're
So
young, but
they're both Aquariuses,
mm.
and they like literally, there are days where I'll be like, oh, honey, like talking to my husband, I'll be like, did that trigger you? Have fun. Like, how is that mirror? Like, these are the things that you do that's annoying to me. And now you get to deal with them too in our daughter. It's the best. Like, I literally am just like, I just
So
let them go
funny.
for it. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, this is learning for both of them.
Yeah. I can't wait to like learn my daughter's birth natal chart when she's born. I'm so excited.
You have, like, in the hospital, literally, I have
Literally
been
like,
like
oh,
in my bed like looking it up, and the nurses are like, do you want to like get up and shower or something? I'm like, after I do this, thank you, I have to know. I have to know this information. I've done it
that
twice
is
now, and my husband's
so
like,
funny.
you are nuts. But
That
it's
is so
important to
funny.
me.
It is important because then you understand your child on a level
Oh yeah.
of how, what their soul's mission and purpose is, how you can parent them. It literally should be protocol for like every child that's born, to be honest. Every parent should know this information.
Absolutely. Like, my son is 6 months old, and based on his natal chart, I knew that he needed to be like, he's more reserved. He's very energetically and spiritually sensitive to anything and everything. Like, he has had stranger danger since the moment he was born, but
Mm.
it's because he is extremely spiritually open. And so I've been incorporating in my own diet through like nursing him, like different herbs that help him through my breast milk. I'm not even kidding. Like, this is the kind of stuff you can like
Genius.
literally like look. I We'll talk about that later.
I
But
Oh my God, we are so getting into that. We're talking about that after. Okay, cool.
but that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, okay, so these specific herbs are energetically protective, but also he's a very cold, like stagnant, damp kind of like constitution. So some of the herbs that I take are more adaptogens that are going to help increase his like Agni or like inner fire. And it's just going to help warm him up, and it's going to help his blood move and all of these things, because breast milk is truly like
Liquid
what I
gold.
intake, it goes through to him. And there's been actual science for the people that love science. There's scientific studies that if there's certain herbs, like fennel was one that was specifically studied. If the mom takes fennel, those compounds are sent through the breast milk, and it will alleviate gas within the child that is drinking the
Wow.
breast milk. And that's the best thing about fennel is it's a bitter, and it and helps clear out gas and constipation. And so, but those are things that I'm like, this is such a simple fix. And constipation and gas for babies is like
It
just
just
normal
comes
part of
with,
life.
yeah, like it just comes
Like,
with it. And you know what's interesting? So in Italian culture, fennel is always part of the meal. So
oh
you would eat it before, like any holiday we have, we always have fennel on the table. And it tastes so good. I
yeah,
love
really.
fennel. You put a little
I
bit
do
of
too.
olive oil and salt on it, and it's like delicious. So that makes so much sense.
Exactly. It's like the best and easiest digestive bitter that like everybody has in their kitchen, but no one knows that it
What to
has
do
all
with
these like
it?
properties. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like moms, like that should be one of the first things that people teach you is like incorporate these two things in your diet, and your kid won't have colic. Like, period. And colic is one of those things that so many doctors, midwives, everybody in the world has kind of like bought into this idea of colic. Like, babies should cry. Like, they're babies. They're going to cry all the time. No, they're not. Like, that is specifically because we're not giving them the tools that they need. We have the information, we have the supplements that could help them, but we just don't know. Like, you don't know what you don't know as a mom, and you're sleep
Yeah.
deprived and you're stressed out that you're going to do something wrong. And like, the thought of taking herbs is scary. And like,
Yeah.
because of our culture and because of how we've been educated. But like, I'm not kidding. We always joke that my son is an angel baby but it's because I've been taking herbs my entire pregnancy, mushrooms my entire pregnancy, not hallucinogenic, but like reishi mushroom. I
Me
took that
too.
from the
I've been
second I
taking it.
was, yes, reishi babies are totally a thing.
Yep.
And like, I was like, he's like my experiment kind of, because with my daughter, I didn't have all the herbal
You didn't
information when
know.
I was pregnant. I didn't know. But with him, their temperaments are night and day at this age. Like, he sleeps all night long. He takes naps. Like, my daughter hasn't napped 1 second since the moment she was born. She was never a napper. And like, I attribute all of it to like all of this information that I now have and being able to know through his natal chart the support that he needed. And I can also give herbs that support him through his natal chart. Like, it's just fascinating. Homeopathy, if that's something you're into, like homeopathy and
Yes.
infants, like I've been giving it to him since day one. Like, and it's life changing.
What were your like top homeopathic they're not like supplements, I guess you would say, that you were giving to your baby? Like what
Oh
was
my
your like
gosh.
top one?
So there's two that like I've used literally from the beginning. So the first one is lycopodium, and it's essentially for gas and constipation, and it keeps things moving.
Mm.
So, and with babies, you literally melt them in
Mm-hmm.
water and you
Mm-hmm.
give them one drop. One drop is a dose,
Mm.
and it gives them everything that they need. And so lycopodium was the first one, and that was like his remedy for colic. There's a couple of different ones that you can look into, and there's a great book that I can send you, Jenna. I don't remember what it's called.
Yes,
It's like
please send me
homeopathy
all
for
the
kids.
things. Send me all the things.
But it'll like give you a different, like a bunch of different symptom profiles, and you can match it to your child, which I love. Like, instead of like a one size fits all kind of like prescription or
Yeah.
whatever, like it'll be like, okay, are they red? Maybe not. Are they cold? Oh yeah, they're cold. And like, it'll take you through all these different specific symptoms, and then you can match exactly to what your child's experiencing.
Oh, I
And so
love
that's how
that.
I landed on lycopodium. And literally, like, because he was colicky for like a week before I kind of figured out which remedy was like his fit. And
Mm.
he hasn't been it since. And it's been 6 months. And I give him maybe a drop like once every 4 weeks now. And he's just like the happiest little dude. So that was like the first one. And then aconite is probably the biggest one that we use in our household as a whole.
Mm.
Aconite is like kind of like vitamin C for the homeopathy world.
Mm-hmm.
So if you feel a cold coming on, if there's a fright, like my daughter will get anxious and like kind of like nightmares at night, she gets a little scared. Aconite helps relieve those anxieties, and it just calms your nervous system down, because you know how like if you have a jacked up nervous system
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
like on high gear, you're going to get sick more often, you're going to be run down, adrenal fatigue, like all of those things play into it. And that's also where you can see it in someone's natal chart, is like people are prone to adrenal fatigue, they are prone to a overactive nervous system, they are prone to these things. And like, that all is my daughter. She's like literally the constitution of like, I don't know if you know like Ayurvedic
Oh
constitutions,
yeah.
but she's like a
Hmm.
pitta. Like,
Yeah.
the ultimate pitta being is my three
Yeah.
year old daughter. And like, so with her, like all those things kind of like combust inside of her, and have being able to help her calm these things down just naturally is like so helpful for her.
Game changer. That
Yeah.
is, girl. I could see you like writing a book or something on this. Like you're such a freaking wealth full of knowledge. Like this is so helpful. Like I can't wait to just hit you up after and be like, "Yo, give me all." Because especially going into motherhood, it's like a whole different ball game, right? Because now you're like, I got to take care of me, but mo I got to take care of this baby. Like I got to cater to the baby. And if you don't understand these different things and you're not like running to the pediatrician all the time, like I don't want to be doing that. That's
No.
not like something that I'm really going to be doing. So like I 100% am leaning more into this, and to each his own, of course, but this information is so important. And again, you're looking at their birth natal chart and you're figuring out, okay, this, like you just said, your daughter's more pitta. Like when you know that, and then you're like, okay, she needs these herbs, this homeopathy, she needs this, it makes sense.
Exactly. And like it's so fascinating how like there it's you can just genuinely support your kid better and yourself. Like even in so with cancer for you, this is like
Tell
totally
me.
gonna go into your chart right now. So with you, like being that Cancerian soul that you are, cancer rules like the breasts, female reproductive systems, the waters of the body. So breast milk is a water of the body. So you're entering into this era of like heavy Cancerian energy. So if you, depending on like where your Mars might be or a transit of Mars, that could lead to like clogged ducts, mastitis, all within that area because you are so heavily focused of energy in that area or
Mm,
different things like that. So now you can go and know that information about yourself as a mom. You can pick up herbs like poke root that's going to alleviate clogged ducts. You can pick up phytolacta, which is a homeopathic remedy. Pop 3 of those, and clogged ducts and mastitis are cleared overnight. Like you just know those things, even about yourself, to be able to support yourself better. And it's just like it takes a lot of the guesswork and like the fear and anxiety out of this transition where you already are in such a vulnerable state and such an open and raw state of energy, physicality. Like these things will just be at your fingertips now. And you can just employ them as you see fit, not necessarily waiting for someone's permission or advice. Like you have the authority now. And it just like that alone hopefully feels really good for people. Like to me, that was liberating is being able to have my own authority over my own body and make my own decisions of how I want to support it. So yeah,
mm.
that's like that's an example.
I love that. Preach, preach, preach. Yes. This is why I do what I do. This is why you do what you do. Like, to empower people. Like, we are, walking examples of leading this lifestyle. And again, why we do what we do and why our soul came here to do what we do. And I think it's so, again, it's empowering when you can take that back, your power back, and you can really say, I know what's best for my body. I know what feels good. And I actually do have a knowledge and understanding of my own energy type and how it plays on my physiology.
Right. And then you can employ all of the herbs that fit that same kind of energy. And I feel like this was something that I can't remember if we talked about it. Did we talk about like actual astro-herbalism theory?
No, let's get
Oh
into
my
it.
gosh. Okay, so this is probably what I should have led this whole conversation with. However, like you know how like with the planetary influences, like we said, Mercury retrograde, full moons, we're like, oh, humans, they affect us. Like there's a connection between us and the planets. Well, the herbs are the same way.
Mm,
The ground, the trees, the animals, everything is receiving that planetary influence as well. And so that means that herbs or any kind of plant, anything that grows on this earth essentially, has planetary influences as well. And based on their look, their taste, and their feel, you can deduce what planet is the ruler of that herb. So you mentioned nettle earlier. Nettle is very pokey, it's sharp edges. And if you rub against nettle, like in the wild, or you took like a raw nettle leaf and rubbed it on you, it's going to cause a little bit of like redness and abrasion. Those are all Mars signature qualities.
mm.
So it's a Mars ruled plant. And it's just really fascinating how that specific energy then can be found in nettle. So nettle is very warming. It is also very nutritive. And there's just so many benefits that someone, especially you, so you have cancer and water, a lot of water. So warming energies are good for you. And Mars, if you think of like Mars, is very much a masculine, like warrior power kind of like
Planet of
energy.
War.
Yes, and you're in a era where you're growing a human, so you need a lot more energy. You need a lot more of that fire and that like fight inside of you, mainly because you're trying to build something. Like you're that you need that energetic spark inside of you. So that's why nettle is so good for pregnancy and for also breastfeeding. So it's just really cool, like that kind of like planetary influence that you can then use. Also, it's just more information, right? It's more of a language that's trying to be communicated with us. But yeah, herbs, everything around you is ruled by a planet as well. Just like it's not just like specific to humans, like it's everything around us on this planet is tied to the planets in our solar system as well. And so you can, there's also really cool, like, I'm sure you've heard of like, there's days of the week that are ruled by certain planets. So
Yep.
you can get really into Astro-Herbalism, and it's called, I think it's the spagyric type of methodology for formulating different herbal compounds and formulations that, so if you were to go and do like harvest a sun plant, say like St. John's wort is ruled by the sun. If you want to do a St. John's wort tincture, you should go and harvest it on Sunday, which is ruled by the sun. That is when that planet or that plant is going to be most energetically potent. So you would go and harvest it in the wild on Sunday and hopefully then incorporate it into your tincture or whatever kind of modality you're looking to make your medicine with. But that is how you create spagyric essences, which is essentially that was rooted back in alchemy, like the Hermetic tablets. Like it is old information. And that's like deep astro-herbalism that like some people really get into. And I've tried, I, for the most part, if I am wildcrafting, I will go and harvest on certain days just because I know that it's really potent that day. But that's how you make the most potent medicine, is truly knowing that specific information. It's so easy. Like the planets are all rulers of certain days, and you would just go and hunt for plants on that day. Like our ancestors did that. It's just so simple.
It's literally like blowing my mind. And the fact that you're saying this too. So in I haven't even like spoke about this on the podcast yet. I'm having Melissa come on soon and we're talking about Fearless Founders, our networking community. And I specifically, because I do a lot of work with just like entrepreneurs and bringing like that spiritual, energetic business aspect with like one-on-one coaching and things like that. And so I created a workbook, and it is literally astrology for the modern entrepreneur. And I break down Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, literally all the way to Sunday, and which planet is the ruler of that day and the energy that is affiliated with this and how you could be most productive on that day.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's like literally that's like divine timing that we just talked about. That
I
I feel
know.
like, but
I
it's
can't
so
believe she's
true.
mentioning this right now. But you know what's even crazier? Somebody in our group chat was saying like, "Oh yeah, in I mean, duh. I mean, I am Italian and I like do know this, but like um in French, it's literally like they name each of the days after the planets.
Oh
So
yeah.
in the actual language, it's so wild. And Europeans, that history is so much further along than it's more ancient than America and our system, of course. So it's like we're catching up, but at the same time it's like, wait, like this has been around for so long.
So long. And like we literally like are not taught it like at all. But it's funny you say that because even if you think of like Sunday, sun day, it's
Yeah.
ruled by the sun. Like it's just like
Monday, moon
moon
day.
day. Like it's in front of us. Like it's slapping us in the face. Like this information is begging to be heard.
Yes. I am so happy that, again, this conversation just lights me up so much and we can go on for hours. What is, as we wrap up, what are some words of wisdom you have for the listeners?
Know yourself. Like know your natal chart. That is like it's something that is so accessible to everybody. And if you're interested, get a natal chart reading, but also you can read your own natal chart. Don't wait for someone to give you permission. Don't like the information is out on the internet. Google it. Like this stuff is begging, like I said, to be heard, but also it's going to give you so much insight into yourself. And it's not something to be like knocked. Like, this is true information that pertains to your soul, and it can unlock doors that you don't even know about, whether it's your purpose, your soul mission, your karma, your health. Like, these are all things that you can take charge of and know, and it's all sitting in front of you waiting to be read in a natal chart, truly. And there's like, take advantage of that, become your own authority. If you want to try herbs, try them. If you want to try astrology, try them. Forget what other people say, just do these things for yourself. And like, that's the biggest advice that I can give to people. Like, don't be afraid. Just
Yeah,
like,
who cares?
exactly, like, who cares if you're into this stuff or if it's helped you? The great, it helped you, period. Like, yeah.
It's made such a difference in my life to a point where like I literally created a business out of it and also brought on an astrologer onto the holistic human performance team. Jake is phenomenal. So if like you need a birth natal chart reading, like hit him up. It's just like that's how much it helped me. I wouldn't just do it for shits and gigs. Like I'm like, and it was so divine too, because he hit me up. He was like, I love what you're doing. Like, this is what I have to offer. And I'm like, hell yeah. Like, come on the team, like let's get it done. And it's just expanded what we do here on such a level that I can't even explain. And again, I'm never going to push something or talk about something or just in general say something that I haven't actually done myself and experienced myself, and it has helped me that much. I'm like screaming it from the rooftops, and that's why I wanted you to come on, because I firmly believe, know, have seen, and it has helped me, students, clients, community on such a level that I can't even describe to you. And I know it has in your life as well.
Definitely, 100%.
So good. Katelyn, where can people find you?
Mainly Instagram. So I'm Mod Mama Magic is my Instagram handle. Same with modmamamagic.com is where you can buy readings or book anything. If you have questions, reach out.
Yes.
I'm like the biggest astrology and herb nerd ever. So if you even just want to chat about these things,
She's about it.
I'm here for it. Like, Jenna and I talk about this stuff all the time. Like,
We're always
here
DMing
for
each
it.
other back and forth about this stuff. I know. And Katelyn posts such like the thing is it's not because a lot of people will be like, oh, like woo woo. No, like she'll post something and then explain why and like have, actual, whether it be in more of the science sense, the spiritual sense, like there is like a reasoning behind it. And again, she always puts education first. It's not just like, oh, because I said so, or like, this is what the planet is doing today. So, like, this is what you have to do. She really cares and knows the value that it adds in other people's lives. So, go check out what she does because I can't even say any more good things about it.
Thank you so much. Oh, that means so much to me. You're amazing.
Seriously. And I can't wait to talk to you after about like what to do with baby and how to support me as a mom.
We'll get all into it. Thank
Oh
you
my God.
again.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on. Guys, if you like this episode, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.